Thank you, Marcela. Well, now I'm going to introduce our speaker for this week. So, she's majoring in political science and is one of our international ambassadors here at the international office. She can speak Chinese and Cantonese, and she has shown good leadership skills, communication, and friendship with our international students. So, for that reason, it's a great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Jiaxin. So, Gia, welcome. Thanks for being with us and presenting about Malaysia.
Hello, hello. Is it working? Okay, thanks. Okay. So hello, welcome to Malaysia all over. Not in Malaysia. I'm the representative from Malaysia, so I have to speak good. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was supposed to happen. Okay. All right. I come from Malaysia, and if you guys don't know where it's somewhere in Southeast Asia. Next to our left, it's going to be Indonesia. To our what's below us is Singapore. If you guys know where that is, like extremely rich country. But yeah, I come from Malaysia, which is actually an Islamic country. If you guys didn't know, but I'm not Muslim. I'm actually Buddhist. We're a multicultural country. We have so many things in our country. We have like beautiful beaches, as you can see over there, and then there's a lot of food. We're like considered the food haven of Asia, if you will. And then you can see on the right that we have one of the oldest biodiversities in the world, because we're a tropical country, and so it's like we have this like wet or moist, environment for all sorts of like life to be in. And then we have a lot of cultural events that varies between races and cultures. So here I basically just explained it earlier, but we have three primary races in Malaysia. That's Chinese, Malay, and Indian. And we usually have engaging community events to strengthen what we say one Malaysia spirit, which means that we're one people, right? Although we're different cultures, we come from different backgrounds, different families, we're still Malaysian. So we're still one people, one country. So you see in these pictures right here, these often happen during Independence Day, which is 31st of August, and sometimes even in school events, because schools really emphasize on this whole one Malaysia spirit, where it's like, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care if you're Buddhist, you're Catholic, whatever it is, we are still Malaysian, right? And so with that different culture, we have so much food, and it's just like, if you do come to Malaysia one day, I would definitely recommend you try out all these three on the screen right here. On the left, it's called char kway teow, but in Chinese is cao fan, which means fried noodles, or here in America, chow mein. But we use a different type of noodle. It's like more fat and more thin, and it's usually spicy. It has egg in it, shrimps in it. And it's really, really, really popular in Malaysia. And the next one is beef rendang, which is a popular dish among the Malays. So char kway teow is a popular dish among the Chinese, the Hokkien, whatever it is. And then beef rendang is a very famous dish among the Malays. And as for banana leaf rice, now this is very complicated because the Malays and the Indians fight over it. They're like, oh no, it's Akazi. Oh no, it's Jiaxin. Like they want to try to fight over it, but usually we just simplify it as it's any food, right? You can see in that image, there's chicken, there's fish, there's yogurt, and it's all served on a banana leaf. It's not like a random plate and you in your hands or whatever. And let me tell you, if you do try these, they are so good. Like, I want to go home just to eat these right now because they're really, really good. Okay, next. So like I said, biodiversity. we have one of the biggest biodiversity in the world, and because, like I said, tropical weather, we have more animals and plants. And these two, Pulau Perhentian is one of, I think, the most beautiful beach I can find in Malaysia. The waters are so clear, you can just look down, you can see your own feet. You can see so many fishes, sea turtles, you can literally see them there because that's how clear the water is. Excuse me. Sorry. And then this one, Mutiara Tamanagara, that's in Malay. In English, it's called Mutiara National Park. And here, this national park is considered also one of the most beautiful in Malaysia. There are deers or, I don't know, roaming around. You can see skunks, raccoons, sometimes baboons, swinging from tree to tree because of how well Malaysia preserves its rainforests. Next, okay, let's talk about currency. So, I'm sorry. The currency of Malaysia is called ringgit. So ring a bell, ringgit, and we have a lot of colors compared to the American dollar, as I've seen, and they're all actually okay. If you see 1 ringgit, 5 ringgit, and 10 ringgit, they're made out of plastic and they're waterproof. So if you dip in water, nothing will happen to it. But if you dip the 20 ringgit, the 50 ringgit, and 100 ringgit in water, it'll rip. So yeah, I don't know why they do that, but it's interesting. So the exchange rate is for $1 you can get I think $4.20 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 4.19. And then our coins, yeah, they all go in order. So I don't know. I feel like it's because when I first came to the States and now I work at a bookstore, I couldn't do my coins. I don't know how to give change because the 10 is smaller than the 5, and I was really confused. But I got it now. But as you can see there, from left to right, it's 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, in order. So yeah, that's how it is. Okay, now this is something I'm really proud of my country, extremely proud of. Sorry, I can't remember. Okay, so football and badminton are actually the most popular sports in the country. If you go out where I stay, there's a huge playground behind my house. Children ranging from, I don't know, adults even, 6 to 19 years old. People will come out of their houses in the evenings just to play football in the playground. It's this large field. You can play football there. And badminton, I play badminton. I play badminton with my dad. I grew up playing badminton with my parents. So and because this figure right here, Lee Chong Wei on the left, he's ranked the world #1 badminton player. Pretty sure I think you guys seen him in Wimbledon or maybe the Olympics. But yeah, he's pretty cool. And then as for squash, we also ranked world top #1 Nicola David. She's a squash player. And yeah, she has, I think ever since I was born, I've known her to be the world top squash player. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that, Okay, so this is something controversial. I don't know if I was actually deciding if I want to speak on this or not, but I decided that I will. So, in the education system in Malaysia is pretty weird. It's you have to go to, so it's different, obviously it's different from the American education system. We have 6 years of elementary school, aka primary school, and then we have 3 years of lower secondary school, which is when you're 13, 14, 15, and then 2 years when you're 16, 17, and then you graduate, right? After you graduate, you go to pre-U. Now what pre-U is, it's essentially this thing where it's just how do I put this? So you know how we do GE here in the States. So what they do is they make you go through 1 year of this GE path, and then you go on to 3 years of university life or whatever it is. And which is kind of weird sometimes because if you don't pass your pre, you don't ever go go to uni. I think that's unless you have money and you bribe them, but yeah, that's how it is. And then here, as you can see here, we have uniforms. We don't go to school dressed in sweats and t-shirts. We have a uniform and we have a code. So let's just say my uniform, the pin right here, if I take it out and be like, oh, I think I gained weight. So I take it out and I just sit down, and there's like a teacher or whoever saw that you did that, you'll get demerit. That means you have points in the discipline system, you'll get deducted. Stuff like that. If your socks are too low, if you wear ankle socks, points deducted. It's stuff like that that really weirded me out as a kid. And then if you're like a prefect in a school, which is like a student leader thing, your tie is weird, points deducted. You wear bracelets to school, points deducted. Smartwatch to school, points deducted. Like stuff like that, right? And then we have the secondary school, which is high school uniform, which is just another form of the primary school, just lighter, right? Same thing. Everything goes out to the demerit system. You can't really like wear necklaces. You can't really wear stuff like that or whatnot. And so, like, I guess, to be honest with you, I didn't grow up in a national secondary school. I went to a international private school, and so I had a little bit more freedom. But yeah, on the left, that's my primary. I went to that school. That's the picture of my school that I went to. And as you can see from that picture, I couldn't get like a better picture, but from that picture, it looks really compact, right? It's because it's an elementary school, middle school, and secondary school all combined into one. Yup, and it's like literally on the side of the road. Like you can see, it's literally on the side of the road. It's like a main road right there. And so, yeah, I grew up in that school, and then I left and went to an international private school, which I'll continue right now. There are different types of schools in Malaysia. You would have public and international schools in Malaysia, and we have so many curriculums to choose from. If you have money, and if you're rich, you can afford this, you can pay your kids to go to a British school, American school, Australian school, Canadian school, whatever you wish, whatever you would like to do, right? And so I'm grateful and I'm very, very happy that my parents are well off. Bless them. And they put me through a British curriculum, which led me to come to the States today. And so we can see here in the pictures, there's the American International School, and then the Alice Smith International School and Australia International School. I've been to all these three, as in like I visited them. I didn't go there, but I visited them. The ISKL, just so you know, I'll just put it in terms for you. For 1 year to go to that school, it's 60,000. Yes.
Is there a big percentage of population that are attending to the private schooling system, or is very small percentage of the population?
Okay. So where I'm from, like, which I will continue later, it's not that big of a percentage, but these schools are in the heart of Malaysia, like the capital of Malaysia. And so there are these schools are actually used for expats. People who come from another country to bring their family, and they're not citizens of Malaysia, from somewhere else, but they want to put their kids through school, don't want them to miss out on school, right? And so these curriculums are made for them. So usually for a Malaysian to go into these type of schools, it takes a lot of money and effort. So like I said, like the ISKL ones, that's 60,000 a year, like a year itself, and that's like 7th grade. Yes.
Do you are there like dorms there?
Yep.
Okay, so you live.
Sometimes they give you dorms, and sometimes they provide you with like food and stuff like that, and then that will rack up your, it will rack up your cost by, maybe 75,000. It depends on the school. For the school I went to, I'm not showing it here, but I paid, this is in ringgit, not in US dollars. I paid 25,000 a year when I was in 6th grade. Yeah, so it was pretty bad. My parents put me through it, so I'm kind of happy. And then as for the British schools, I feel like the majority of people usually choose the British school because, Malaysia was colonized by the Brits at one point. And so we see the British curriculum as superior compared to our Malaysian education. And that's what I went through, British curriculum. We go through exams such as IGCSE and A levels, which is IGCSE is the high school diploma, for British schools. And A levels is like the pre-university that we talked about. Pre-university, a test like, it's like the SATs basically. You have to pass this test in order to get into college. And IB is International Baccalaureate, which is something I'm not really familiar with because I don't know that curriculum. But the Australian and the people, like the Swiss, the people from Switzerland, they do the same thing. The Australian International School, I've been there once, but it just looked like normal school to me. But yeah. Okay, this is the controversial part. So, why would my parents put me into a private international school? Well, this is the reason why. Subjects are usually focused on just one language, which is Malay. And there are many graduates who cannot speak elementary English. So what the government essentially did was, when I was still in public school, when I was in elementary school, the government every single year will put out an announcement saying, oh, okay, I'm going to change the science and math syllabus to English. The next year it'll be like, oh, I'm going to change the science and math syllabus to Malay. So they constantly change languages, right? They switch here and there. And so people who grew up not speaking English, like for me, I'm lucky. My parents taught me English since I was like a baby. So that's different. But for kids who do not, like they did not grow up speaking English, they have to juggle between switching languages here and there, here and there. And so they don't actually learn like the material that's given to them, like math or science. They learn the language that comes with it, right? And so sometimes the parents of these students are fed up. They're like, no, I can't deal with this. So they either put, like they put students, they take their children out of this particular school and they put them in what is called a kebangsaan school, which is like only dedicated to one language. So one school will be like, I will take up the syllabus for Malay. So I will only focus on teaching the whole curriculum in Malay. And another school will be like, okay, I will take up this and I will take syllabus for English and I will only teach the whole syllabus like math and science and English. And so parents have to decide, should I put them in this school? Should I put them in that school, right? And so many of the Malays, like the Malays in Malaysia, they grew up speaking Malay. And so obviously the parents would put them in Malay schools. And so when they do that, they graduate university with the bachelor's degree and still cannot speak elementary English. And it has been a really, really bad like image on Malaysia. And then next point I would like to make is that they don't promote learning in an engaging manner. I grew up memorizing stuff. I don't learn the material. When I was in elementary school, I memorized everything from head to start. As long as I got an A, that's what I mean. I don't have to learn anything, right? And the last one is integration of Islamic bias into schools. Now, as I said, Malaysia is an Islamic country, and not all of us are Muslims. And so what the government decided to do is that they started to add like Islamic classes into the school. They started adding into the curriculum. And so when they start doing that, people who aren't Muslim, like I'm not Muslim, so I don't get to learn about any of this. And majority of the teachers are Malay, majority of them are Muslims. And so we're kind of like outnumbered. And usually I would say that Malays are more favored, in my opinion. So I guess like that really put off a lot of parents from like who are from other races. They're not Malay, they're just Indian or Chinese. And so they can't really get the same quality of education as the other people. And I guess it really like affected how the entire structure of Malaysia is right now. And this is a huge thing too. So in Malaysia, and this one is not usually talked about much, but I feel like I should include this because it's really important. I feel like we should address this. That there is a religious rivalry between Islam and Christianity, and it's all over the news. There was, I think, this was back in a few years back, but the Muslims wanted, I think it was just random Muslims, they wanted to burn Bibles in like protests. and they did it. And then as to show more, like, I guess, power over us, they shut down Catholic convents. I went to a convent, which is my elementary school. It's called Ave Maria Convent. I went to a convent. That convent right there is the oldest one in Malaysia, and it got shut down because it's Catholic. Because there's a cross on that building is wrong. And so that was this whole thing, but I don't want to comment on it. But this is actually what happened. It took place, and yeah, it's been pretty rough lately on that side of the story. So I would like to ask you guys, what do you think, and where does that leave us today? As in, like, the whole education, religious, like, what do you think of it? Should we integrate it or should we not? What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Question, is there a rivalry between Islam and Buddhism or
Christianity.
Hinduism, or not so much, mostly against Christianity? Really? Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. It just happened out of nowhere. It just happened, and we saw it all over the news. And convents were getting shut down, and a lot of people go to that school. Those are public schools, and a lot of students go there. And it just started happening, and then no one knew why. No one knew, like, there was no closure, nothing. It was just like, it just happened. Yeah. I will go to the next slide. Okay, now for the depressing matters. Let's talk about famous celebrations. Okay, so as you said, we're a diverse country, amazing country actually. And we have all sorts of these, like, celebrations: Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, and this thing keeps blocking me. And Dipaavali, which is in India they call it Diwali, I think. Am I right? Yeah, okay. So Chinese New Year is why I celebrate. We celebrate it, I guess right now, as the lunar calendar changes all the time. I think it's between February and somewhere between the end of January and February. And during Chinese New Year, I don't know if you guys have heard, we dress up in red, because red is our favorite color. It's a color of luck. And we go over to who's ever married. And we're like, hey, happy Chinese New Year. Put our hand out, expect them to give us their red packet, just money in it. So if you're married and you're Chinese, you have to give us money, unless they're not married. Yeah. So other than that, we also have this thing called lion dance, which is like a huge cultural thing where people dress up as, like, the lions, have the thing, and they go follow the beat, and then they start dancing. It's pretty fun. And then we also light up firecrackers, like, really loud, it's like gunshots, like, and it's pretty fun. I always like it when that happens. But yeah, next is Hari Raya. So that's what the Malays celebrate. It's their New Year. So during then, to be honest, that this celebration is very, very, like, I would say it's really, like, emotional, because during that day you go up to your elders and you ask for forgiveness for everything that you've done in your life that has hurt them, anger them, or anything. I've seen one of my friends actually. I went to their house during the celebration, and I saw that she was asking forgiveness from her mom. She's like, hey, I'm sorry. And she, like, kissed her mom or something like that. And it was really, really cool to see. And they also do what we do. They put money in a packet and give it to their kids or whoever the kids visiting. And then they also light, as you can see that, I think you guys, was it tiki torches? Is that correct? Yeah, they light those, put it around their house. It's all really nice. And then they also, like us, they light fireworks and all that stuff. And they usually dress up in their traditional clothing, just like I do on my New Year's. And yeah, next one is Dipaavali or Diwali. So this one, I think it differs a lot from the original version, like in India, for us, because we're so mixed with our cultures and stuff. We mix in elements from different cultures and add it together. So during Diwali, all I think about is eat. I never think about anything else. I just think about eat. because the food they have there is phenomenal. They have like great, like, I don't know, is it mutton? They have great mutton. They have great biryani rice. They have also good food. And then what's nice is that they do this lighting ceremony, like they light the candles. Am I right? Yeah. So they light this stuff, and sometimes my neighbors are Indian, so I go over and I play with some stuff. I got yelled at once, not good. But yeah, it's like I feel like out of all this 3D Deepavali, it's like really, really bright and beautiful. If you guys get to experience it one day, it's totally phenomenal. Okay. Oh, it's not moving anymore. Oh, there you go. Okay. So now let's get personal. I'm from a small town called Ipoh. The state's Perak, which stands for silver. And we are extremely famous for food and our history. And we used to be a prime place to mine tin. So I guess if you were to come visit us, you would still find places where they show you that, or how people mine tin, but we were like considered rich back in the days, So here in Ipoh, we have these food. I'm sorry, I know my theme is always food, but it's really good. Like, I'm not kidding you, it's really good. So on the top left right there, that's we call it caramel custard. And so it's like this, it's like chilled egg custard, where they put like I think it's brown sugar syrup on top. And then after you eat, you order this as a dessert, and it costs like, I would say I think three ringgit, which is about less than $1 here in the States. And you get that, and it's really good. And you can only find that in where I'm at, in Ipoh. And so the one next to it is what we call curry noodles. And that one is where you know, what do you guys call it? Vermicelli noodles. Is that what you guys call it? Vermicelli noodles. And you have like chicken and curry and egg, whatever you want to put in it. But usually you don't put stuff yourself. But it's also a really nice dish. It's not my favorite, but it's a really nice dish. And down below, you'll see that there's this weird like peanut thingy on jelly stuff. So that's what we call ice kacang, which is shaved ice with jelly, with syrup, with corn, with fruits, with peanuts, a lot of things. And on to the right, that's what we usually eat. That's what me and my parents, when we go out to like a restaurant, we order that. So you see that big bowl right there? That's soup. That's like soup. To the left, the teapot with tea. And then there is sweet and sour pork, as you guys know. It's right there on the left. On the right, I think it's stir-fried veggie. And on down, it's either roasted duck or roasted chicken. And then you have like rice to pair with. So these are the famous places in Ipoh where I'm from. We have Get Lok Dong, which is a cave, a limestone cave actually, where we have shrines of deities and gods. Yeah, and I've been there so many times I've lost count. But that place, we would say that is one of the most like divine or holy places in Ipoh, because it's just, have you guys heard of feng shui? Yeah, the feng shui there is good, I guess. But yeah, it's been, you go in there and everything just made out of limestone. You can see like raw, like limestone, like unprocessed or whatever. So it's like on the ceiling, on the floors, it's really pretty. And on the right, we have the hot springs, the natural hot springs. It's only 30 minutes from where I live in Ipoh. And you can come here, you can pay for like a resort or something that you can just chill there for like 3 to 4 days for like, I would say $400. I would just estimate $400, which is $100 here in the States. So yeah. Okay, so this is nightlife. One of my favorite things about Ipoh. So the first one we have is Pasar Malam, which is a flea market. Get your fake Louis Vuitton, get your fake Gucci, get your fake, I don't know, Fendi, whatever it is. You can get it over there. And sometimes there's a street food, like smelly tofu. I don't know if you guys heard of that, but it's like fermented tofu, fried, which is super, super good. And sometimes they have fried everything. They have fried cauliflower, they have fried bitter gourd, they have fried this, fried that, they have fried everything. And then on the right, you can see it's called Tong Soi Gai, which means dessert lady. So you can see how crowded that is. So basically, for that whole street, 52 stores, 52 individual stalls right there. And as you can see on the 19, you see the yellow side of 19, that's where my parents and I always go eat. I saw this picture and I was like, I'm gonna put it in there. Because that's where my parents and I get food all the time. Yeah, and they serve so many things from the desserts to beef noodles to like char kway teow, the one I showed you earlier. And they also sell like burgers sometimes, like street burgers. They sell that too. Like they have all of those over there. Okay, now let's talk about one of my favorite, like absolute favorite place to visit in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, we have this place called Cameron Highlands, which is like an hour and 30 minute drive from where I'm at. This Cameron Highland place is really famous for its tea plantations. So as you can see here, these are the two major tea plantations, the Bow tea plantation and the Bara tea plantation on the right. So in these two places, you can see that these tea plantations covers like, I don't know how many percent, but whenever you drive to Cameron, you can see like all of these like covering the hills and everything. And you can take a hike there if you need, just like you can hike there if you want to.
Do they export the tea?
Yes, they do. I think they do. I don't know if I can still get it here in the States. I would try on Amazon probably.
They have it right there.
Yeah. But yeah, there's more about Cameron Highlands. Just so you know, I want to emphasize again, Malaysia is an extremely hot country. I would say that California is pretty hot too. Like, I guess I'll talk in Celsius. I can't do Fahrenheit, but 40 degrees Celsius is about 100 degrees Fahrenheit if I'm not wrong. But in Cameron's, 16 is already pretty high. It can go as low as like 10, but 16 is the average, so I just put 16. 16 degrees Celsius, which is 60.8 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I don't know if you guys think that's hot or cold. I feel like it's cold. I don't know. But anyway, we have a lot of corn, that's for sure. We have like different color, like I can't find a picture, but it's like corn. It's like this. It's a normal corn, and if you open it up, there's like different colors in it. It's like black, red, blue, something. I can't find a picture of it, but yeah, you just have to believe me on it. And then strawberries are a huge deal. Every time you go into Cameron Highlands, you'll see like so many stores saying that, oh, pick your own strawberries. There's like several plantations worth of strawberries. And you also have a lot of like flowers. You can pick your own flowers. They have a lavender garden over there. You can go ahead and pick your own lavender. And then hiking, that's what I would say. Hiking. So as you can see on the picture on the left, you guys know the biggest flower in the world is the flower. It smells like rotten eggs, like a dead body. You go near it, it smells horrible. But I have seen one in real life. I think it can only be found in Cameron Highlands. I've never heard or seen anything on the news that can be found anywhere else, but I know for a fact that it's found in Cameron Highlands. And this forest on the right is called the mossy forest. It looks like a bunch of spiders just, I don't know, it freaks me out, but it looks like a bunch of spiders just scrambled together, but it's called the mossy forest, which is like the a top hiking spot for, hikers from other countries or tourists or who wants to hike. It's pretty cool because I've been there once and it freaked me out. I don't want to go back there again, but yeah, it was nice. Okay, now let's talk another favorite place of mine. This is Penang. it's an island. Just so you know, their capital is Georgetown, which is another place here in the States, I believe. They have beautiful, again, beaches. The one on the top left is called, I think, Batu Ferringhi Beach, which is really, really pretty. Usually I went there, like, don't know how many times, but monkeys are always roaming there. You can feed a monkey whatever you want. They're always roaming there, and you can go on a banana boat, whatever you want to do, snorkeling, you can do that too, picnic, whatever you want to do at a beach, right, tan, whatever it is. But that beach is the most beautiful beach in Penang. And the only reason why I like Penang is that they have beach and food. So I went to actually pre-university, like before I came to the States, I went to Penang for my pre-university program. And I spent like my whole 2020 there. And I would walk to get food because I didn't have a car back then. So I would walk to just get food. I would walk like, I don't know, 30, 40, 1 hour just to get to that store that I like, that had the good food. And I would do that with my roommate. But yeah, we have like Penang. They're famous for that one thing, like the chocolate again. It's famous everywhere. And this one is very unique. You see the bottom right picture right there? It's called laksa. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but laksa is so famous in Penang that I think it went on global news because it was, in my opinion, my favorite noodle soup is that. And it has a very fishy taste. It has like, you know, pho. It's like pho, and then you add too much fish sauce. That's how it tastes like. And it's very tangy, and it's also a little bit spicy. And on the top, it's prawn noodles. So what that is, the thing is, I don't know how to make that. So let me explain to you. So basically, you peel the prawn, like the prawn shell, whatever. You toss it into the wok. You scramble it here and there, scramble it here and there, a little bit. And then you get the flavor, and you add your broth, and then you add your shrimp, and then you add your laksa paste. Oh, not laksa paste, sorry. Sometimes you add red chili paste. And then you get this great dish, which I recommend you try if you do go to Penang. I do recommend you try. It's so freaking good. But yeah, Penang is like one of those places which is like super rich in history and super rich in food, super rich in like culture too. As you can see on the bottom left, that's like the quote unquote bird's eye view of Penang. And it is an island, as you can see. But when it comes to like the history, you can find a lot of historic buildings, like Victorian looking buildings, and Penang did preserve that really, really well. They do not want to demolish it because it's our history. But yeah, this is another one of my favorite places. And yeah, I feel like that would right now. Oh yeah. Okay, so last section will be a Q&A that I would really love you guys to join in with me. So what do you think I left my country to pursue an education here in the US? Give me a wild guess. Just a wild guess, if you could.
I think you're here to start a restaurant in Fresno, Malaysian restaurant, because I don't know that there is one, is there?
No.
Called Malaysia. We have Chinese, we have Mexican, we have Indian. I've never seen Malaysia restaurant or even Indonesia restaurant. Why is that? You have all kinds of wonderful foods here.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's just because not a lot of us like settle here. I think I think that's the answer. Not a lot of us settle here. But but yeah, I guess. Well, I think for the answer to that question is really generic, I guess, because you know, I was actually thinking of pursuing an education in the UK. Half of my family lives there, but I realized, you know, I don't know if I want to go back to the UK education system because it's hard. I'll be honest, it's hard. It's so hard to the point where it's like I would sleep like 2 to 3 hours a night just so I could study for my A levels at that time, just so I can secure myself an A.
Why Fresno?
Why Fresno? Oh yeah, diversity, definitely. Cause I was like, I don't want to go to like a town where I was like the only Asian person there, and I'm just gonna be like, I don't know anyone, I don't know what's out there, I don't know. I was like, I'm scared. Like I don't want anything to happen to me. So I feel like when I heard about Fresno, and I heard that it's in the Central Valley, if the San Andreas fault were to fly away at some point, I'm not gonna die. Central Valley, if earthquakes hit, nothing's gonna happen. It's gonna be shaky a little bit, my feet, that's all.
What's your major? What are your career goals?
Oh, this is controversial again. Okay. Poli sci major, right? Yes, I do want to become an attorney, but after that, I want to be a lobbyist. And people always say lobbyists are like mean people and that they suck. And I'm just like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like if I want to be a lobbyist, I feel like I feel like my character is not suited for that. I don't know, because, but I feel like lobbying would be a great opportunity to like network and also, learn about a lot of the things that's happening in the US, which I don't know about. So yeah. But yeah, I guess that's that. And then, this one, I don't think I'm gonna do the second one because I just gave you my answer. Okay, the last one. There's one that intrigued you by the presentation. What would that be and why?
I think it was the religion. I didn't know that there was a lot of controversy between Christianity and Islam.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that like Chinese, Malay, Indian, like all three were so much like mixed into Malaysia. I didn't realize that. So it was really interesting.
What about you?
Your topic about the currency you were talking about, how like small bills are indestructible, but the large bills will fade away with water. It's kind of like trickster, like an inside job to the story. Like there's more to it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, like, how many languages do they offer over there, and how many do you speak?
I speak a dialect, so I'm not going to include as a language. So I speak 3 languages of now. I'm currently learning Spanish because I'm in Fresno and I have an internship and I want to learn Spanish. But right now I speak English, I speak Malay, I speak Mandarin, I speak Cantonese, my parents, which is my mother tongue. And then right now I'm learning Spanish. Yep. And they usually offer 3 languages. I mean, actually, no. Usually, okay, so this is weird again. So, like I said, how the public school education system, there's like public and international, right? Well, public has its own division too. It has the Chinese schools, which offer Chinese as a subject, and there's the Tamil schools, which offer like Tamil, which is like the Indian speaking Malaysia. They don't speak Hindi, they speak Tamil. So you have the Tamil schools where they offer like certain subjects in Tamil, and then there's the Malay school, which offers Malay, like just Malay stuff, which is generally Malay, and everything is taught in Malay, I believe. Yeah. So they offer these 3 major ones. Yeah.
Monica and Sue said that she found the school system very interesting.
It's interesting. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah. Yes.
I wanted to ask, you said something about August
31st.
holiday, August 31st was New Year's?
Independence Day.
Independence Day. When
Can you stop
what
sharing?
year was the Independence Day? Like,
What year was it?
yeah, like what year did August
Oh.
1st become a thing?
1957, the day my dad was born. The year my dad was born, sorry, not the day. But 1957 was when, like, I think founding father of our country, her name is Tunku Abdul Rahman, I think his name is, and then he went over to London, signed that Declaration of Independence from the Brits. Was like, you know what, hey, we got our identity. And so we got that from the Brits, and then that's when we declared independence. And up till then, actually, there were, like, our school convents, right? And so we had different schools, like girls' school, boys' school, right? And so they're all like, they were ran under, they were not ran. They were under, I guess, the convent system, where pastors were the head, like the principal. And for me, it was like the sisters were like the nuns or the hymnisters. We still have pictures at my old school with pictures of like nuns being the hymnisters and stuff. And so the curriculum was primarily British for a really long time, until when Malaysia like got their independence, they started doing it their own way. And so all that Britishness left the curriculum. So yeah.
You mentioned about the school uniforms, kind of like it's too strict, too negative, but sometimes I think it would help students focus on studies instead of all the stuff we see going on in Fresno and Clovis. I think uniform, I mean, I hear studies that schools are requiring uniforms, the educational performance is better. How do you see that?
Because even when I went to a international school, I still wore a uniform. I personally feel like uniforms are way better than just dressing up like normally, like right now in American high schools, because I feel like, we don't have to think about what we're gonna wear every day, and we can just put it on, forget about what we're wearing, forget about how we look. We're here to study, we're students, we're just supposed to be students, and that's how it is. But I feel like the demerit system is really unfair, because there are certain times where, like I had to unhook, because I realized I went after PE, we have to immediately change into our uniform. We cannot stay in our PE clothes. And Malaysia is so humid and hot. It's like always 36 degrees, 38 degrees Celsius, which is like 90 to 100, within that range Fahrenheit. So it's really hot. So whenever I would unhook, let air in, so I can sit there and go to class after PE, and they were like, no, you gotta put on air. And I was like, but I'm hot. I was like, I'm sweating. And they're like, no, it's like a case-to-case basis. Some cases it's unfair. And I feel like to that certain extent, like we don't have to pin everything down to, like to your liking or whatever. I feel like it's just unfair in that aspect. But other than that, uniforms are great. I love them. I still keep mine at my house. So yeah. Oh, there's so many people calling.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, Gia, we just want to thank you for making the time and taking us to Malaysia, for being so honest.
Thank you.
And taking the time to share about your country with us this evening. Afternoon. So let's take a traditional picture. So those in Zoom, you go open your cameras, and if you could be in the front. Okay. The audience, if you want to be taking a group picture with everybody, join us in the front, please. Can you reach out from the main? Okay. So let's just not cover the people in Zoom, but you can stand right here. Okay. If you
Do you want us to come up?
Yeah, please join us. Let's just be on the side so you can be with the speaker. Yeah.
Where do you want?
As long as you're not covering someone in Zoom, you're good. But then if you want to,
Yeah.
you're good. Because that's her. Okay, so there's more people here. Let's balance this out. Thank you. 1, 2. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you.